I stole your thunder.
You did. This is why I don't invite you back.
I know you kept me away from here for 3 months. Now I'm back, and I get to talk about a whole laundry list of things. So
I know. Look at all those things. Hello, everybody. Welcome to tonight's edition of DV Live City Talk. We are here at 5 p.m. and at 6 p.m. we have the City Council meeting.
yeah, I will technically probably be sitting in a room when this is broadcasting, listening to attorneys and doing that City Council thing, which is fun.
But we can make it seem like you're Superman, like you're here right now. Do the whole change.
Do I need to show them the shirt rack?
Oh,
My
no.
Superman rack?
Oh no.
So that's a joke inside the office. I have a Superman rack, so that if I have to go from out of work clothes to mayor clothes, I have a rack of clothes.
It's kind of hidden with some tablecloths in there.
We
don't make it too
just tucked
obvious.
away in yet another corner of the domain.
Yes. So last time we had you here was beginning of summer.
It was June, I think it was.
Yep.
And everyone out there who's watching and participating in DV Live, thank you. Thank you for helping us continue to bring information about the city to the community, which is the first and foremost goal of this. And that's why you don't see me as much.
It's taken off. We've had people reach out. They're like, we have an interest, or they say, hey, you should reach out to these people, see what to do. The Hope Center.
Hope Center and Tara's, when Tara's been here, and Megan and I mean there's lots of great individuals that serve our community, and this serves as a great channel to get their stories out and to get that communication.
And it's a little different. It's a nice fun break with scrolling. You see something pop up and it's like, oh, what is this?
And we're starting to really see this communication the communication mandate that we started with at the beginning of the year is starting to show its colors, which is great. The community conversation, just the things that we're getting out in terms of information. I know we're going to talk about a bunch of it, but we're real proud that we think our city staff, and I commend them all, has really worked hard to take what this council said is our priorities and move the ball forward on them. And then, we've got a fantastic working council right now, which really helps.
It was great meeting Megan McKenzie and hearing her take on the community outreach and new ways to communicate through social media, the website, everything, and just her take on her new position.
That's somebody who got hired and then thrown in the bus and said, by the way, it's going 60 miles an hour. God, what was the character's name in Speed? She's the Sandra Bullock of Speed. She just got told
that is such
the
a
bus
good one,
is out of control. Get behind the driver's wheel and
she did great.
Get it done. And she's still learning, which is so much fun. And she's experiencing. But my hat's off to and I guess Ron Strand is kind of our Keanu Reeves. But it's really interesting because we're pushing it. We're not just letting. We could probably just give her a bus going at 5 miles an hour, but we're really focusing on keeping the things moving forward and positively, and it's happening.
I still love, and I told her the same thing, I loved the street sweeper post. It is one that stands out still in my mind.
I gotta tell you, I love today. Today's probably was my topper over the street sweeper one. Today was probably one of the prouder ones I've seen in a while. It's right behind the magnet. So
the tires the
mag,
cleanup. Yeah,
because people think that we that came from a citizen's idea.
Okay.
Citizen came and said, hey, I saw this in another city, would you look at it? We looked at it. We ended up acquiring one, and now we're acquiring a second one. And it seems such a little detail, but I mean, if we save even one citizen's tire a month, which I know we're saving more than that.
Yes. When I saw that photo, I was like, ooh, there's a lot out there.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're doing that. And then the second, one of my favorite funny ones was, I think it was on one of the very first ones with the tire posts, is we actually got a post that somebody was being critical of us hurting the local tire shops.
Oh, that's true. Good job.
I went, no. This is part of what our community needs, and I mean,
I will admit, I would much rather save my tires than become best friends with any of the shop.
Well, and I mean, the bottom line is that's not what they want either, because their employees are impacted. Their friends and families, their colleagues. We're not doing this to hurt a local business. We're doing this to improve the quality of life that you experience as part of this community. And then when we talk about preparing the streets,
Yep.
it's a double because we have to sweep and clean and get crap off the streets before we can start to slurry and repair and do the things that we're doing. And we're doing a real good job of that. And that's what's kind of neat is just seeing what's coming off and how that communication's happening.
So before we jump into slurry and all that stuff, real fun fact.
Okay.
What's your favorite part of fall?
My favorite part of fall, when does fall start?
Fall hits officially September 22nd, but we start dipping down into the low 90s this weekend. So,
The low 90s. It's only good to get it's the 90s.
hey, it's hoodie weather for me.
Geez. So I guess my favorite fall then, since winter, everyone who knows me knows Christmas will be my winter one without much discussion. But my fall one, I don't have a lot of fall ones, but I call it my fall one, so it might be slightly still in the summer season. But my family, for the last 12 years, we do apple picking at Colsar's U-Pick in Tehachapi.
How fun.
And I have pictures of my kids from literally because all my, by the way, happy birthday to Grace, Garrett, Grant. I had three of my kids had birthdays last week, and Gavin is in October, but we have photos of our kids all within, like a week of their birth.
At
the
apple picking. Okay.
Well within their first, month of being alive. And it's always great because we'll find the biggest apple we can find and put it by its head. And you have the head comparison shot. And then we have photos of our family just growing up through the years while we've always done apple picking every year as a family. And it's so my favorite thing in the fall is our annual apple picking trip. And even last year during COVID, they let us get out there. It was outdoor, and it meant the world to us. And we're excited to be able to go back out there this fall. So
Last year was the first time that I ever went apple picking. So, and I think even with the pandemic restrictions and everything, it was nice just to get out and experience it all.
it's a back east thing.
Okay.
They don't know. I married a full-blooded Italian out of Boston, and when her first year here with us, when she moved to Ridgecrest, she said, "We're going." We had been engaged for about 6 months or something like that, maybe 8 months, and said, "We're going apple picking." I'm like, "Why am I driving an hour and a half? The store's right over there. There's apples." She said, No. You have to be part of the experience, and it's been a family tradition. There are a couple of those that we've established as a great family tip, off topic, but family means everything. People, don't let yourself get drawn into the minutia of other people's arguments. Take care of your family and your loved ones, and if you have small kids, make traditions with them. They mean the world in long run.
When the fact that you're speaking of that, on Sunday, I turned on Hocus Pocus. And I busted out my Hocus Pocus coffee mug, and we sat down and plopped down, and it was the first year, my son's 4, that he was actually watching. And he was staring, and he looked at me, and his eyes widened. He's all, "Mama, I want to be a T-Rex and get candy." And it clicked in his mind what was happening.
What was that? It was Halloween time.
Yes.
So for my son, and they know it now, Thanksgiving morning, if Daddy's cooking and I cook Thanksgiving, Christmas Vacation is on. And it plays twice. It plays while I'm cooking, and then it plays after dinner. So the first time I'm just usually listening, or it's on a background device or something. But they will. My oldest will tell you without doubt that if he hears, "It's that time of year again," he'll see Daddy with his earbud in, with an apron and singing, and he knows. Just click.
It clicked.
Daddy's watching Christmas Vacation. He's listening to his favorite Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And the season's on, and that's from Thanksgiving morning on.
I love that. I love it. So let's go ahead and just dive right on in, since we're talking fall.
Well, since we're talking fall, I'm gonna switch up one of your questions.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Let's talk about traditions.
Yeah.
Because we just had
A major tradition.
A major tradition that just has to be acknowledged.
I'll allow this one because I totally agree.
You tried to steer the conversation. I'm just taking control of it.
Here goes the bus. Here is Sandra Bullock.
Yeah, exactly. Parade of 1,000 Flags. Anyone who is out for it, I just want to, first commend all of the people that were involved in putting together.
Yes.
IWV EDC, News Review, CERT, our Veterans Affairs Advisory Committee. We had an incredible people who've worked this event now. We did not get to have this in 2020. COVID clearly shut this one down.
And it was felt through the community.
It was felt in this. Saturday was beautiful. It was really wonderful to have the 20th anniversary on a Saturday morning.
That's odd to hear, but I can relate.
Where people were able to come out and it wasn't impacting works or jobs, and it was on the day of. Everything was about it. Because usually Parade of 1,000 Flags, they'll target Saturday, but it'll be like
the 12th
13th
or the 14th.
or the 9th, or, around it. But it was really symbolic for it to be on the same day. And then to have all three of our major elected officials,
Yes.
Congressman McCarthy, Senator Groves, and Assemblymember Fong out there. District Attorney Zimmerman. They were Captain Vaughn, Sheriff Youngblood.
It was very, even electrifying, seeing it through images. The feeling, the patriotism felt, and I can only imagine what it was like to be spearheading.
It was a fantastic experience. One of those cool, just memorable experiences. Trivia question, obviously, for the people out there watching, if they saw that I rode in my car, I didn't ride alone. I rode with somebody, and I got that unique honor. So I had my dad, who's a Vietnam vet and has been was a Creighton CEO before me. So I call him. I always like to look in the mirror and say, okay, well, I got to try to be close to that in 30 years, but not exact. And it was a real honor to have him out there and just let him interact with.
Did he enjoy the time and reflect?
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day, and I think that the words that were shared by all of the speakers, and there's nothing that I got more pride in than being able to stand there and say that Ridgecrest has never forgotten. 20 years, the sacrifices that were made, they've been honored, they've been shared, they've been felt, and more importantly, they've never been forgotten. Yes. And that's part of what makes Ridgecrest just such an incredible community. And when we talk about traditions, that's what Parade of 1,000 Flags is. But I want to go one more tradition that those people that did it, thank you, hats off to you. Please continue to do it. And that was you parents that brought your kids out. I mentioned in my speech, I said 20 years ago that the internet was an adolescent.
Yeah.
Amazon only sold books.
Remember the little AOL guy running and the doo-doo?
But Amazon only sold books. Yep. And the idea of a mobile device was limited to a BlackBerry. And our world has changed over 20 years.
Oh, the Nokia brick with Snake.
Yeah, the bricks were even earlier than that. So
we're limited.
In your pocket. That was the key. In the pocket was BlackBerry. But these kids, 9s, 10s, 12s, from 4 all the way up until 18, they don't have a way to remember what that morning was, what that moment was, what those.
Do you remember exactly where you were?
100%.
Agreed.
That without question.
Agreed.
I remember it as vividly as I remember Challenger, and I said that in my editorial of the paper. I remember Challenger as vividly, and I remember this one as vividly. I was in for Challenger. I was in I believe it was my 6th grade classroom, 4th grade classroom.
Okay.
And we because Krista McAuliffe, if I'm remembering the name right, and don't hold me to it, because she was a teacher, all of the schools around the nation were celebrating the idea of the first teacher going to space. And so it was, I laughed. Somebody was, I saw a picture of the old cart with the TV and the VCR.
Yes. Yeah.
And I went, oh my God, I feel old.
Here comes the black.
But that was what they played the news
of
watching the launch, and you saw it. And so you experienced it with the kids in the same moment. for 9/11, it was I was a single guy in an apartment, and I'll rehash just one little aspect of it that I still remember it so vividly was when it all happened. You're in a surreal state, and I got up to head to work because it was all East Coast time that happened. So for us out here, we were getting it all as we were waking up to go to work.
Right. Well, except for me.
Well, at my age, I was waking up to go to work, and I dug in my closet and pulled out two flags, American flags that were given to me. Typically, when you accomplish a significant honor or something, your congressman or elected official, they can choose to hang a flag over their capitol as in recognition of your accomplishment.
Okay.
And so you'd have a flag that was flown over Congress or a flag that was flown over the state capitol. And so I'd made my Eagle Scout, 11 years earlier or something like that. So I had my box of mementos, and in there were two flags. And I remember I picked the flags up and I hung one in my front window.
Okay.
And I took one to my work.
Oh.
And I was the only person who brought a flag into my work, and I hung it over my. At that point in time, I was a teller. For those people that I was a teller / loan officer, and I hung it in the.
You started from the bottom. Now we're here.
I did, but I hung it over my station,
Okay.
and I was the only one who brought a flag in that day, and it was a surreal day because nobody came in. Nobody was. I mean, people weren't
I'm
out.
assuming it was very like Walking Dead.
It was a
People were
dead
there,
day.
but they weren't
Very
there.
few, like 3 or 4 people over the course of the entire day. No phones. Very, very, very
That's
surreal,
eerie.
quiet.
Yeah.
One, I think that was nationwide because people were glued to their televisions. You got to remember there wasn't information on demand in the same way, and so we had a lot of time to talk and reflect on that day. And I still remember the 2 days later when there was the nationwide vigil or nationwide candlelight vigil, and I couldn't find any records of it to what they called it, but I remember standing on the street corner in Sunland and going up somewhere in that area. And it was beautiful. I can still remember it vividly. Just I said in the speech that the events that unite us are there for a reason because they remind us what it means to be an American, what it means to be to have the freedoms that we have, and to be in the greatest country in the world. And
I think this year signified a lot more with partnering and banding together with your neighbor.
Absolutely. We are at the greatest point of division that.
And then remembering on that day and remembering it so proudly that 20 years ago we were united. It did not matter.
And we can be united today just as easily. And it doesn't require tragedy, but it does require a little bit of us getting out of our own ways.
A little bit of effort.
A little bit of compassion, a little bit of respect, a little bit of understanding, a whole lot of littles. So
That's one thing I like at Starbucks. More than likely, we all know I like my coffee. Let's not even talk about that. I love to just do the gesture, the pay it forward.
Oh, yeah.
It's something small. It's something insignificant. No one ever has to.
But it fills that part of just being a part.
Yeah. And I do remember about 2 weeks ago, someone was like, oh, I'd like to pay for the car behind me. They're like, oh, no, you don't. It's $32. And I was like, no, I do. And it's just little tokens that can go so far. And it might impact the car behind me, but it might also leave an impression there. And it's like, help your fellow neighbor. Yeah. You never know what someone might be going through.
It goes a long way. It really does. In the challenges and some of the debates and disputes that we're experiencing right now, respect goes a long, long way. And I've certainly been, of the last month, been sticking my foot in the respect, bog. So, Okay, well, thank you. Traditions are wonderful.
Yes. If you guys have
proud
traditions,
to be a Ridgecrestian that day, and feel free to share your comments.
Yeah, definitely drop a comment. Maybe we'll find something new to do. Maybe you'll see us
Maybe you'll post something
out in a pumpkin patch or something somewhere.
And speaking of traditions, on Saturday, December 11th, I'm just kidding. That's the other program.
Yeah.
Wait, that's the other program.
Regularly scheduled program.
I just thought I'd do that. Wait, on November 3rd, Petroglyph Festival is coming back to our community.
Look at you. Look at you. We also have the fair coming back.
I can use the left and the right hemispheres at the same time. The fair's coming back October 23rd, 24th, 25th, I believe it is.
22nd, 23rd, 24th. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a demo derby and the livestock auction. And
My husband is keeping me far away from the livestock auction.
well, you're tempted to slaughter.
Yeah.
What?
You know, some of the best beef I've ever had, sorry for anybody out there, but the best beef I've had came from 2 cows that I loved on named Duke and Buttercup. So,
Well, I don't think Duke and Buttercup appreciated it, but
it's okay. It's okay. We'll talk about that later.
but livestock auction. I mean, just seeing the kids' efforts and the fair's going to be out there. We got plenty
vendors,
of shows. We've got the vendors, and I got to tell you, more than anything else, is the smile and look on people just getting outside and
Yes.
experiencing some normalcy. You can experience normalcy while still being respectful. If you're very if you're highly concerned about the risks, then I understand completely and I respect your decision to wear a mask or to not participate. I respect that 100%. If you're vaccinated and you choose not to wear a mask, I respect that. If you're unvaccinated and you choose to belittle or berate people for their individual decisions, I don't. I'm sorry.
I won't tolerate,
You can. Everyone is allowed a right to their opinions,
And there's
everyone's
reasons
allowed
why.
a right to their medical decisioning, but there's not an implied right to
Be rude to
be
others
rude or disrespectful to others.
and put them down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be a bully.
Yeah,
Don't be a bully.
ain't that the
So-
truth?
Okay. Let's hop around again.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is gonna be the hour-and-a-half long episode because Eric doesn't shut up.
Well, I mean, last city council was
6.5
6
hours.
hours long. So
Yeah.
let's just go ahead and dive right into COVID mandates.
Oh, COVID mandates. Yeah.
I mean, I guess we're starting from the bottom here today.
Okay, so COVID mandates. Let's again, without all the rigmarole, the simple fact is that the city of Ridgecrest has no active mandates in place.
Okay.
We have not cited.
Now, we come
Anyone.
down from Kern Public Health.
Yeah, Kern County Public Health is going to dictate actions, but remember that they have a parent too, which would be California Department of Health.
Okay.
Of Public Health. So if California, as the state agency, tells the county agencies, and then the county agencies come down to the city, it's a
funnels out.
trickle-down effect.
Yep.
Right now, there are no mandates under which to debate, and the largest debate is that there's a segment of our community that wants our council to stand up and say, we don't believe in mandates, we don't believe in these actions, we stand, that wants us to state in words those actions.
To make a solidified.
Yeah, that
Stance.
we refuse all mandates. But the simple fact is that doesn't serve our community as a whole in any way, shape, or form. It just doesn't. I get why people have their personal opinions, and I think that anybody who really wants to understand how this council thinks, please go back and watch the YouTube videos.
Yes.
They're there. Every single council member.
And I will be linking to the city's YouTube page for this evening's council session.
Perfect.
So,
And we all wore our hearts on our sleeves at the last meeting, and we expressed exactly how we feel as individuals, but as a collective, as a duly elected body of individuals to represent all of the citizens of the city of Ridgecrest. We don't believe there's a justification to go and put a light on this community that doesn't serve a purpose. We have no mandates under which we are defined. We have no actions under which we are taking.
okay.
Now, the federal mandate and the private employer mandate that was put out by President Biden last Thursday.
Yes.
Bit of a game changer. I put a post out last week and some comments that really tried to express what's going on, which is none of us are happy about this. None of us, are
I loved the wording of this post, how we're tired.
we're all tired. We're tired. We're exhausted. We all want normalcy back. We all want a return to that. But I'm not also going to stand by and see I don't believe in the term it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. I don't think that the weariness and the pain and the frustrations and all that are solely due to people that are unvaccinated right now. I think there's people that have to make medical decisions of their own free volition, and they should make those decisions in their consultation with their doctors and have the right to make that decision. But I'm not just going to lay blame at their feet, because that's not true. This is a year and a half that we've been going through this.
Well, and specifically calling out that one time, that further divides.
It only says you're on the right side and I'm on the wrong.
Yeah.
There's no winners or losers in this equation. It's a challenge, and each person has to make their individual best decision based on the circumstances and variables of information in front of them. I got a good couple punches thrown at me over the comment I said, if you don't like the hospital's policy, you don't have to choose to use it, and that's unfortunately that's the truth. I mean, all 4 of my children have been born at Antelope Valley Hospital.
Okay.
And somebody would say to me, you didn't support local. No, it wasn't a matter of supporting local. It was a matter of I wanted a NICU unit with my when my kids were born, so that there was no risk if there was a challenge in the birth, that I didn't risk a Loma Linda
Like a medevac.
medevac.
Yeah.
I didn't want that risk, so I made a choice.
Well, and that's further strain on not only our hospital, your family, the entire situation.
I mean, that's not COVID related, but those are,
yeah.
You have choices that you make in your life. And right now, I support and stand behind the hospital as a private business to make its necessary business decisions as it sees fit. That's for it to account to. And as a customer of the hospital, which people would say, well, no, I'm a patient. I'm entitled. No, it's a business. You have a right to this the same way if somebody came into any other private business and tried to tell them how, it's difficult. Here's the problem with the 100-person one is we have 2 things that are going on. Okay. And the first is that right now, if I have anywhere between 100 and 105 employees, then 1 to 6 people are being fired.
Because
it's just simply easier.
Because in a small business, you have 100 employees, you have to either have vaccinations or require weekly
You're going
testing.
to be required. The Department of Labor has yet to
Release
these specific guidelines. Mm-hmm. But at some point, there's going to be guidelines released by the Department of Labor that imply, in some terms, that every employee either has to be vaccinated or tested. Now, there's probably a dozen variables that have yet to be discussed or talked about,
But people are probably trying to gather budget cuts.
Right. But if you have 102 employees, and in one hand you have the choice of spending a bunch of money on testing and complying and disrupting your employment, your workplace, the God's honest truth is you would trim down the number of employees in order to not deal with it.
Right.
And so that, number one, now costs more jobs, which is bad for the economy as a general. But then the second problem that really is we have yet to see how far this overstepping by the government, and I don't mind. I notice I stopped to pick my words because it is an overstep. I truly believe that. What is the teeth to it? I mean,
what's going to be clearly defined?
I mean, do I have to take punitive action towards the employee? Do I have to do this? How far is this overreach going to go? And then what are the courts going to have to say about that? And I think it's really important for us to remind ourselves that somebody says one thing, there's a court to settle that person's opinion at some point. And as sure as every other issue that we've seen over the last couple of years go through litigation, this mandate will go
and
through.
It's going to go through its time. It's going to have its time to shine.
It's going to be litigated, and either there's going to be injunction of action or a non-injunction of action, or there's going to be actions taken. And there's too many variables to jump right now.
Okay.
I say let's
currently where we stand, Ridgecrest has no.
The City of Ridgecrest has no active mandates in place. The County of Kern has no active mandates in place. So that's that. And as the game changes, we respond to it. I feel I feel that one other thing has to be said about the masks as it relates to one other group, though, which is the school board.
Okay.
So I know that they don't want, there's a group of parents that are very upset about the masks in school, and I respect their opinions. They have a right to them. And I respect that they have a right to, just the same, to pick a charter school or a homeschool option or a private school option
Right.
or some other option. But the bulk of our community doesn't have that option when it comes to their kids.
Unfortunately, but
Right.
it's true.
It's true.
It's on the table.
It's on the table. And the school district doesn't have a choice because its parent, the California Department of Education, is still going to set those mandates.
Right.
So they've been mandated, and to refuse compliance is to risk the ability to educate
Now that
all
would
the other kids.
that would reduce funding. That would
It
eliminate.
reduces funding. It reduces opportunity.
Access.
It delays it further. Again, would I, as a sitting board member, vote like LAUSD? Probably not. But I'm not in that role or position. So I just want to put out an attaboy to the SSUSD school board and to Supervisor Ostash. They are not dealing with a set of circumstances where they can really apply a personal opinion. And neither is the city council. Our personal opinions must remain subservient to our public duty. And the first and foremost is they have a duty to educate and take care of the kids, the children of our community.
I think personal opinion here, having leaders that do that leave it at the door, in a sense, in a relatable term, is a leader that I want.
Well, that's the type of leadership we should hope for.
Yes.
Because when we apply our own personal opinions, we can have our beliefs and our structures and our thoughts, but if we assume that we were elected for what our own ego wanted, then we're not serving what we were elected for.
You're not serving the whole.
Yeah, you're not serving the whole. And I was elected to serve the entire community of Ridgecrest and the city, the citizens within the city boundaries. And I'm attempting to do that. I'm certainly not everyone's
I think you're doing
number
great.
one fan at moments, and others I am, and it's cool. I can handle that.
But it's also nice, like, on a different note, you're accessible, you're
I
reachable.
think so. Despite
You're a
some
person.
rumors.
Yeah. I actually creeped on your Facebook page today, and it says typically replies within a day.
Oh, okay.
So
Doing
you're
above
doing
average.
Yeah, you're doing above average. I mean, you have a cell phone number out there. You do have your city email. It's one thing to be able to come to someone and state, "Hey, this is a problem." But I feel like recently, maybe it's just because we have these chit chats more. The community is more active in bringing stuff up.
Oh,
like
yes.
the skate park.
Well, and you know what? As I said, we committed, and when we were talking about Megan earlier,
Yeah.
we committed to this communication process.
Yes. You're making
And-
communication accessible in 2 days' time.
And it's not always about getting one person's specific problem solved, but sometimes it's about getting gleams of information or sharing that information. I don't know if I mentioned, I know we were talking about Megan, and I don't know if I said, the thing that they released today was the interactive development map.
We had not touched
Which
on
is
that yet
so
because we
cool.
totally jumped to
And
traditions.
we're talking about communication. We're going to come right back to skateboard, but it was very cool because what it did is it lets people now go look at the map and see
Yep.
where and what is on the horizon.
So there is a link for that I'll go to. But if you go to the City of Ridgecrest's Facebook page, website, I assume also on the business
It's in
development,
the business development website, yeah.
there is a little interactive map that looks like, Google Maps has little dots on
Yep.
it. And it says what business is coming, if they're
Where.
open, where they're going to be, or when they're
And what their
anticipating.
anticipated opening is. Yep.
Like, amazing.
Yeah. I mean, so we've got Pandas, slated for next month.
And it's corporate
is
plus
coming.
local
Yeah.
businesses.
Corporate and local. The California Welcome Center, right on the heels, ready to go.
Allie's Crab Shack.
Allie's Crab Shack, and then we got. I mean, guys, for those of you that go, oh my God, I can't. It took us under a year, 9 months, and we found an entrepreneur to open a gym, and they're open and they're serving our community. They're
Yes.
doing a great job of it at 760 Fitness.
Yes.
And here's the fact: is we find issues and we find them and we're working with them and I think people assume that something happens and it's going to change overnight. It doesn't. It takes a process, and we've got good processes going on our business development side, and I think sharing that story is it also really squelches. I mean,
There was actually a lot more. Once I saw that map, there's a lot more coming than just what's on the table. Like, yes,
yes.
I'm excited for Panda and Chipotle and coffee. I'm really excited for coffee. Let's be real. Come on. But I think it's exciting to see the growth happening here.
Well, it's been overdue, and I know that every commenter will say, "Well, we don't have the water to support it." We do have the water to support it. We have to have a good plan for how we're going to replenish the water. It's not a matter of not having; it's a matter of having a strategy for replenishment.
And that is definitely not overnight.
No,
In
and
its own
that's
respect.
going to take that has 3 decades of history already behind it. Go back and listen to our David Santamon
Yes.
City Talk, and
There's your bus. There's your
it
60
is.
mile an hour bus.
There it is.
Yeah.
But so talking on that communication side, we've been really focused on this, and I want to talk. I was sharing with you before we started going about how communication is so important in simple terms. And so one of the things that we get to work on each year is the Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG grant. And this is funds that are available to be invested in our parks. And right now, our focus is on parks and recreation.
Okay.
And so we're putting new dugout shade coverings over the softball fields. And we replaced a bunch of the clay dirt in the softball fields and doing some improvements on those fields.
The fields over on French Street.
In Leroy Jackson, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we know the skate park's there. And one of the things that we discussed, back maybe 2-3 months ago was putting benches or seating at the skate park. And we were looking like, the traditional benches around the area, the little steel structure and bench.
Like, yeah, the little graded.
Yeah, a little graded.
Yep.
And we decided to not move forward with that in terms of a recommendation because we were first and foremost concerned about putting something out there that just became treated like an obstacle. So we are going to be
Someone's going to be doing, and I'm going to butcher this, an ollie.
or a rail slide
Yeah.
or a trick that my hefty butt should never try. But
I'm never going to get out there.
we had an incredible parent. I believe his name was Chris. I want to say Benitez or something like that, but Chris, if I butchered it, I apologize. But what he did is when he got up and he spoke about the skate park, he didn't talk about the skate park from he talked about some of the challenges, but when he said the seating, and I asked him, we had a dialogue back and forth, and people say we don't dialogue with the community. We absolutely do. Always are welcoming it.
If someone says you don't have a dialogue, they really have not cornered you.
No,
somewhere.
they really don't know me. That's an absolute truth. Good
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Is what he said the issue about the seating isn't always just about having a place to sit, but it's about getting the teenagers off of the obstacles and eliminating the animosity that's created because one group of kids might click together and sit on the half pipe, therefore preventing any other kids from using the half pipe.
Okay. And I mean, shout out to that parent for being there and noticing that.
Right. And more importantly is for giving us good feedback on.
That's an insight that neither you or I are at that point with children.
I don't have kids at skate park. I don't.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I have officers that are, and guys, we are well aware, and I mean, I can point a lot of fingers, but let's just say that our teenagers in our community suffered through COVID right alongside the adults that are frustrated and tired. And I guarantee you they have effects and feelings and things like that have went unchecked. And we know this. And
Yes.
anybody who's went through their own teenage years, if you're out there listening, I guarantee you did something stupid that you never are proud of.
Well, the last year tested all of us, and we're adults.
And they're experiencing it in the same way.
Exactly. Their
Let's
routine was
remember
thrown off. They're repressed. They didn't have friends. They're now getting back out socializing. Some are probably socializing for the first time in a year.
And may and some may have a strong will, and some may have a weak will, and some may have a good personality, and some may have a very challenged personality. It doesn't matter. The key is that we know, and we're trying to respect it, and we're trying to work on the problem. And this is the type of feedback that we need in order to understand what are the solutions we can look at. In this case, it's gonna, I hope, open the door to a larger conversation on the CDBG.
Yep.
To do something like a gazebo type setting that we have over by the splash pad. So when the splash pad was first being put in, that was one of the things we said we needed seating.
So something with shaded seating, benches.
Seating, but tables and benches.
Yeah.
And offset from the skate park, so you can be very clearly about, this is skate area. This is not skate area. And I think that it's interesting because if they hadn't given me the perspective of it's the teens getting in fights with other teens because they're clicking inside the skating area.
Oh, well, you're telling me to move. Well, I'm going to be stubborn
And
sit here longer.
And if that's what you want to do is you want to sit and socialize, well, let's give them a place to sit and socialize that takes them away from interrupting other kids that are using it properly or are looking to use it. Hey, it may not be a solution, but it's one little piece to how understanding the problem comes from good communication. And I think we told them thank you about 3 times that night. And the same night, it was funny when we had Quality Life, there was an older woman who was there reading a book in council chambers when I walked in there, and I introduced myself, and she says, I'm just here using it as a cooling center. I'm just hot, and I don't have AC at home. And she sat through the entire Quality of Life meeting, and I talked to her afterwards, and she thanked me. She says, it was so much fun just to hear and see what you guys are thinking, and I really appreciate it. So again, I encourage the community, come out, participate in these meetings. We got a lot that's happening, and your inputs do matter.
And it's nice now the access to watch them at home at your convenience. Okay, so I can't watch it at 6 p.m., but here I can watch it at 10 p.m. after I put my child to bed, I get my laundry done, I do XYZ schoolwork, and then I'm like, I'm going to watch the
My next one that I told him is our committee meetings don't go out on YouTube in the same way. And I said that there's an incredible podcast opportunity there to throw a mic on people and just at least you could listen and be able to learn what.
And then people can chime in.
Well, even after the fact, it's about just making sure that the information can be disseminated. And then, kudos to fellow council member Kyle Blades, who understands the same way I do. Doing a 15-second video means the world, and he beat me to it today. He got the vote video out before I did, so I lost that race today.
There you go.
But it's cool. Those are the types of and we've been focusing on that. And skate park's just a perfect example where your communication, your inputs back to the city, they are relevant. They are absolutely relevant.
Okay. So as we wrap up, slurry schedule.
On schedule. We're
Roads
slurring
are
the world.
So just make sure you look out for them cones, people working.
You name it, we're slurring it.
I saw that they're going to attempt to do weekly updates every Monday of which streets they will be on.
Yeah, there's been the post that we've been sharing, and it's been going out, and it lists the basic roads. And some people are like, well, you're not hitting the road yet. Well, no, we have to prep the road. We have to clean the road. We have to, somebody was worried about the road not being slurried because we were out there filling potholes and doing crack sealing.
Uh-huh.
Well, guys, we have to crack seal it before we slurry it. Otherwise, everything of the slurry just goes down the crack, and you've got a crack that's on top of the slurry rather than a smooth surface.
A smooth surface.
So there's a process to the whole thing, and
it's not going to happen overnight.
No, and Travis is doing a spectacular job of getting it organized and the communication out.
Okay.
And those are the types of things that they're just little itty bitty details. Fall slurry, obviously, the reason being why fall slurry is so important is because we hit that magic temperature band for us.
The hoodie time.
Where it's not, 115 degrees and the slurry's, falling apart.
Baking, melting, sliding everywhere.
It's just bleh, or
you can go back to our episode with Travis in more detail about that.
I'm sure he can describe it properly.
He did. He started going, and I was like, acronyms. I need my index card.
We still have to do our ABC one at some point, but it's really good that we're pushing through those types of things. So they're on the right road.
Anything else you want to follow up on other than join them at the city council meeting?
Well, obviously we'd always love to see a council. We'd love to see.
And that's tonight, just so you all remember.
Yeah, it's tonight. And I got to tell you, what we'd love to see new, fresh opinions. We'd love to see your thoughts. We appreciate when there's heartfelt sentiment and when groups feel like they need to speak out, and we welcome that. But we also really would welcome the people that see something and feel like they need to bring it to our attention or raise something or communicate. Maybe we have a bad perception on something like the skate park, and we sometimes need that. It goes a long, long way.
I think it's also nice to just sometimes go in and sit in. You might not know what a city council meeting adheres to or what's on the agenda. And to go in and be involved in your community, you really can at least start to get the ball rolling and feeling like a community member.
I think you also get a huge perspective difference on
Oh, yeah.
on what somebody says about somebody and how you actually read somebody's body language, their personality, the things that they say.
And it's not as scary, like learning city stuff. You think,
it's
oh, I don't
fantastic.
belong here. I shouldn't be here.
And you, if you are a tax-paying citizen and you are part of this community, then being involved in your community.
Attending one doesn't mean you have to come up and you have to
doesn't
speak.
mean, but it might inspire something in you that you don't know is there, or that you have thought about. But I've always said I'm a natural personality leader. You would even
I would agree.
really agree with that. Even before you ever had to
Yeah.
deal with it, that's just my personality.
Yep.
And there's other people that aren't that personality. That's fine. I respect that. But they can be the greatest allies to a leader because they have insights that person doesn't have, or they have enthusiasm
Yeah.
towards something that the other one doesn't have. And when we get those types of things going, you start playing with some real fire.
Because you guys build on each other. It's not like, why have two people of the same personality that
Right.
see the same exact thing in the same exact ways?
right.
Allowing other opinions and fresh eyes come in, like the skate park, you just see a different
You get
side
new
of it.
perspective. That
You might see this, but here's what I see.
Right. I was talking to I think it's Commander Scott. If I butcher it, I know it's Captain Vaughn, but I think it's Commander Scott. He was I'm going to butcher the alphabet. Here it comes. OSCICIS. He's the commander in charge of the base reconstruction.
Okay?
And I did a ribbon cutting with him, and he came over and he says, "We got more coming up, and we're excited to have you out there." And I said, "Sir, I'll be happy to be there, but I just want to let you know that we're going to rotate every different council member out there to those type of events, because every council member cares and is committed to making sure that the base is rebuilt.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be about one being there or another being there, but about us as a united front working hand in hand.
together.
And he
and
looked at me
supporting
straight
together.
across, and this was during the, he looked at me, he says, that is such a great answer. And I said, thanks. I said, but I want everyone involved. Everyone should be involved.
That's just, that's your mindset in general.
Yeah, it's
from
very much
knowing.
my mindset.
Yeah.
Very much. Anybody knows me knows it. I mean, my wife will disagree with you, but anybody who's really worked with me long enough knows that I am a brash, egotistical SOB
Oh, gosh.
with a heart of gold that likes to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And wants to share in the spotlight for all to succeed. There's my campaign. There's my 2022 campaign speech. The
Can we
brash
leave the SOB part out?
Okay, maybe.
I mean,
It
kudos
is
to
who
you.
I am
Gold star for
for using the acronym rather than anything else.
acronym soup.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing I would say is for those of you that are worried about how COVID's going to affect our community and some of those things, I would tell you, don't spend your time in the worry and fear bubble, but rather enjoy your time in the living it bubble.
Yeah.
And we have the Petroglyph Festival, the fair. We got Christmas things coming
Santa's
around.
Art Shop.
Santa's Art Shop.
Yeah.
The DCOA is coming back next weekend at the fairgrounds.
Youth
The,
Fall Ball is happening
Youth Fall
at
Ball.
IWV Baseball.
We have, the hospital foundation's $1 million gala is next weekend.
Local football, go out and support our high school kids.
Burroughs football's back.
We have a home game this Friday.
Yeah, there's plenty of things out there that can be done. both if you're worried about it and if you have that concern, that can be done respectfully and spacefully, but we can come back to normal and start to experience. And I think this fall is a great opportunity for this community to do that with, and I'm excited to see these groups coming together. One last minute shout out for, of course, I'll get yelled at for having it at the very end of the video. If you happen to be a parent to a boy or girl who's interested in scouting, I can throw on my den leader shirt,
Superman again.
during my Superman exchange. The Cub Scout Pack 341 is having a free carnival this weekend at Desert Empire Fairgrounds from noon to 4. And
On Sunday.
on Sunday.
Yes.
And if you really have a burning desire about just something I've said wrong or something you disagree with me on, I'll be sitting in a dunk tank. Come on, bring a ball out, and you can take it out on me and help our local Cub Scouts at the same time. I'm more than willing to do it.
I kind of think I might rather throw a pie at your face.
You know what? For certain people, I'm okay with them just taking it out on me. That's fine. But I love scouting, and scouting was a big part of. I laughingly said, these are just side stories as we're closing up, but I was talking to our local scouting district,
Okay.
and one of the merit badges you need for earning towards Eagle is a citizenship in the community. And you have a process where you can have merit badge counselors, who are people that are willing to mentor a scout through a badge if they wanted to.
Oh, okay.
And I got talking to the district director, and I said, "Oh, yeah, I guess you can write me down for citizenship in the community as a counselor." And they said, "We've never had an elected official that would be a counselor for a merit badge." And I said, "That would be cool. I'd be happy to."
That's awesome.
And but that's what, so scouting meant that to me. And so it means that to my boys, and I'm trying, or at least I'm hoping it does. And
It does.
and so if you'd like to come out to a free carnival and throw a ball and knock the mayor in the dunk tank, I stand
This Sunday
I
at the
stand ready
fairgrounds.
and promise to be properly closed. So and I'm having fun with it. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else. It's well, because I don't want to talk about Key to the City quite yet, because we're still working it out, but that's coming. There's a bunch of other stuff. Congratulations to Grocery Outlet on their 1-year anniversary.
Oh, yeah. They just had a ribbon cutting.
Had a ribbon cutting and proclamation for them. It was really nice seeing them out there, and Adam and Christina doing a great. They're having a lot of fun with it too, which is neat. So.
Well, we're going to wrap this up so that way everyone can go watch you on the City of Ridgecrest page
Yeah,
for
'cause
the
we're only at about an hour,
City
right?
Council meeting
That's at 6 p.m.
at 6 p.m. tonight. Happy Wednesday and good evening, you guys.
Take care, guys. Hope to see you there.